All right, so we're talking about the 3 days of darkness. Everybody keeps talking about this 3 days of darkness. I remember for a while there, I mean, it was just the thing that was trending, right? 3 days of darkness. And everybody's tripping out like, oh my gosh, there's going to be 3 days of darkness. And where that comes from is in the book of Exodus with Moses. God told Moses to stretch out his hands. Moses is a picture of Jesus. And stretch out his hand, and there would be complete darkness where nobody can see, like right in front of them or anything like that for 3 days. And of course, 3 days, Jesus was in the grave, symbolic of 3 days of darkness. His spirit went to preach to the disobedient spirits in the days of Noah, but his flesh and bone was, obviously passed away in that sense for 3 days. Again, so I want to show you where the first pattern for the 3 days of darkness would be. Because that's what the Bible is. It is one gigantic pattern, and it keeps going, getting larger, and then smaller, and then larger and smaller. So it's like the golden spiral, right? It's one big pattern. And so, like the first 3 days of darkness that I've never heard anybody see or mention just came to me today by revelation, sitting there just waiting. And it's in the 6 days of creation. On the first day, God created the light and the darkness, and he separated the light from the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Now we know this is spiritual light and darkness, because that's not talking about, we'll get to that. So day 2, he divided the waters from above the firmament and below the firmament, and he put the firmament there, and he called the firmament heaven. Day 2. Day 3, he made the grass and the fruit come forth and bear seed after their own kind. So you have 3 days there. You see what I'm getting at already, right? And on day 4, that is when he put the sun, the moon, and the stars there for light. So what do you have? You have 3 days of darkness. And then on the 4th day, you have light, right? The same pattern as with Moses, 3 days of darkness, and then 3 days of darkness in the grave, and then he extrapolates that into 3 years of darkness. I'm going to show you right now. He puts 3 days, he turns the days into years, and the years are from 2026 to 2029, part of 29, 42 months, 3.5 days to be exact. And then of course, the sun is symbolic for the sun. The sun, S-U-N, symbolic for the sun, S-O-N, and it came on the 4th day. The number 4 is the number for door. Jesus said, I am the door. Jesus came at the end of the 4,000th year. The word Jesus in English gematria is 444. The 4th commandment is the Sabbath, which Jesus is our Sabbath. He is our rest. Okay, it's all connected. That's why when you get into dispensationalism and mid-acts dispensationalism, they say that they're rightly dividing the Bible, but they destroy what God is trying to show us. He's trying to show us that, like, for instance, he turned 40 days into 40 years, and then he turns it into 40 jubilees. And that's what the Bible is. It's this expansive and retractive pattern all throughout it. 6 days of creation turns into this prophetic 6,000 year time period from the beginning to Jesus. That's what it is. Again, that's a good way to put it. It's expansive and retractive in all of these patterns. He loves numbers, and he shows us these mystery with numbers sometimes, pretty much all the time. And again, just like when Jesus was on the cross, from the 6th hour to the 9th hour, there was darkness across all the land. You have 3 hours of darkness, right? You see that? Just like 2026, the 6th hour, 2026, to the 9th hour, 2029, okay? Darkness will be across the land. That's it. I'm going to show you a pattern for that right now. And so what God is doing here in the last days is he's turning those 3 days of darkness into 3 years of darkness. And this is shown to us easily in the Strong's Concordance. I don't know how God did it, but the Strong's Concordance is highly prophetic. So when you look up the year numbers that the world will be going into 2026, in Hebrew year numbers, that is the number 5786. 2027 is 5787. 2028 is 5788. And 2029, the year of the second coming, is 5789. And in the Hebrew, these numbers in the Strong's Concordance mean to kill, slaughter, 5787, which is 2027, to slaughter, number 5788, to slaughter, and then 5789, the year of Jesus' second coming, which is 2029, means to assemble self. Okay, get it? Now, if you just look in the normal numbers for our years, how we look at it, in the Hebrew Strong's Concordance, 2026 means blind, not slaughter. But you see how they're connected, blind and slaughter, right? 2027 is blindness and 2028 is blindness. So you have a blind slaughter for those 3 years prophesied in the Strong's Concordance. And then the number 2029, not in the Hebrew, but in the Greek, means to look upon. And that's in Zechariah, when they will look upon the one whom they pierced. And if you switch 2029 to 2920, in the Strong's Concordance, it means judgment. I mean, it is absolutely incredible what has been done here with these patterns of the Strong's. Now, there's other things that I've shown. There's more to this pattern, but this is the main part I wanted to show you because this is what's coming to the world in 26, 2027, 2028, and part of 29. And 29's it, baby. And I believe the rapture's in 2025. So again, I wanted to show you how God turns days into years. So 3 days of darkness would be 3 years of darkness coming up. And also the first original 3 days of darkness, which is in the 6 days of creation. Which on the 4th day, God created the sun, the moon, and the stars. He put them there. He said that. So it's kind of amazing what God has opened me up to, what I'm being taught as far as it's one gigantic, expansive, and retracted pattern as far as the numbers and the sequence of events and the names of everybody, because they all mean something.